And welcome everybody to COVID Chronicles, then and now, for April 10th, 2020 and 2021. I would first invite everybody to check out our own site, smAsho.com. One of the links there is for the forum, smAsho.com/forum. And we've pinned the coronavirus forum thread in all of the forums since we're featuring it throughout the month of April, when we'll do the COVID Chronicles, then and now. So I'm just going to head to, I think it's about page 18 of this 30-page document. And this forum contains information starting on January 23rd. And we stopped updating it daily in mid-July. And we copy-pasted documents to make sure that they were in their full form for the most part. So anything between January 23rd, any major story about the COVID between January 23rd and mid-July of last year would have likely showed up at smAsho.com/forum. It is our most visited topic. So here's April 10th, 2020. Our first post here, and shout out to Be Stoic, was our first poster on April 10th, talking about genetic predisposition and the H word. Yes, the word that shall not be said. Just kidding, folks. You can say hydroxychloroquine. You're allowed. And then some more information about environmental racism, apparently. Okay. Environmental hazards. That is a lot of posts on April 10th, 2020. Mr. Primer. Be Stoic Primer, one of our patrons currently. With a lot of perhaps useful links there. So those are actually our only posts on our forum for April 10th. There was enough there to keep us occupied all day, probably. Lots of information about swine flu. And moving on to some more current news stories about the COVID. On a related note, we'll head to Twitter. And you're all invited to follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/smAshomash. And let's see what's trending on Twitter, as they have a header for COVID-19. The virus that killed the flu. What did you do with the flu, COVID? Do you have the flu locked in a room somewhere, bound and gagged to a chair? Are you recreating a virus version of the Saw films in your lair, which is possibly in a vault in Dr. Fauci's attic? I'm not sure. Leave us a comment. Let us know if you know where the leader of the. Anyway, the number one headline here is "The rise of variants in Europe shows how dangerous the virus can be." Did you hear that, COVID? It's good news if you want to be dangerous. So, yeah, variants, folks. Oh my God, variants. Anyway, since I mentioned this, here's the story. It's a New York Times story talking about how much of the continent is experiencing a wave of outbreaks driven by the B.1.1.7 variant which ravaged Britain this winter. Which is, I believe, cases. I believe they're referring to cases. Indeed it is. They're referring to a large number of cases. The question is, how many people are asymptomatic? That's the real question. How frightened are you? How many people are asymptomatic? And are you scared and spooked yet, folks? Are you? I'm scared enough that I've put on shades. All right, now I can take a deep breath knowing that no viruses will land in my eyes and kill me from within. Continuing on, let's head to USA Today and see what USA Today's got to say about the COVID on April 10th, 2021. Top headline about COVID is why women report more side effects from COVID vaccine than men. And they're going to say, because women are whiners. That's what they're going to say, folks. Women are whiners and babies. No wonder they typically lose at arm wrestling matches versus men, because they're wimps. Not weakly interacting massive particles. No, I'm talking about pansies, fraidy cats, and weaklings. I'm just kidding, folks. I'm actually a fan of women's sports. All right. I was kidding about the misogyny, folks. I was just joking. Please leave angry comments in the comments. Anyway, the article starts out, reports of COVID-19 vaccine side effects support what many have anecdotally observed. Women shoulder the bigger burden. So they seem to really get worse effects, I guess. They're more likely to experience some of the more unusual side effects, such as an itchy red rash at the injection site, or Moderna arms. COVID or Moderna arm. COVID arm or Moderna arm. Those are new terms now. That sounds delightful. Women account for 77% of the Moderna's reported side effects. Women exhibit a greater immune response to vaccines than men, experts say, which may partially explain why more of them have reported side effects. Anyway, I'm just going to let this one scroll here, as this may be useful to some of our viewers. Feel free to pause the video. We'll be here when you unpause, sort of, in a virtual sort of sense. There is also gender bias. Just kidding about saying women are wimps, folks. Women are strongly interacting massive particles. And let's look at one more extremely biased news source, the Washington Post. Which I believe should switch to a reverse dark background stance. Since it says democracy dies in darkness, it would make sense to have a dark background. So let's see here. Do they have it? Indeed, they have a coronavirus header. You've got to have it now on your news site. And we haven't made an entire forum for coronavirus. You can find the coronavirus has infected all of our forum topics. You can find information about coronavirus in the cosmology forum, in the Earth and Geophysics forum, the Heliophysics forum. You can find it in all of them, folks. Yes. Yay. Everything's got COVID. Are you frightened yet? Anyway, their number one headline here is I think it's this one since it's the cover photo showing the Capitol. Oh my God. I heard did they take the fence down, folks? I heard it was very effective at keeping criminals in. In any case, is Congress falling for a scheme to ruin civics and history classes? I don't know what this means, but I certainly clicked on coronavirus. How is that a coronavirus topic? Perspective. It must be an editorial. Oh my God. What a disaster. All right, let's leave the Washington Post and go to one other site. I don't know. Zero Hedge, maybe. Maybe there's a glimmer of hope on April 10th. Let's see. Iran releases South Korean ship. Suez Canal blocked by a giant inflatable penis. Just kidding, folks. So there is a bonanza going on with the stimulus checks. I think this round of stimulus checks is done being sent now, although I'm not sure. Can anybody comment and let us know on that? Are there still more stimulus checks coming? Let us know in the comments. Taibbi about Biden. Biden's border czar. Biden's border czar quits despite claiming there's no crisis and that she'd live out 100 days, which was consistent with what she said. She stayed for about 100 days and then resigned. Just looking for a COVID. Do we got a COVID? We got to have a COVID. Did you hear about the monkey playing video games with its mind only? Yes, it does have brain implants, if you're wondering. Traffic congestion returning to New York. And will there be a cyber pandemic? And a pandemic of cyber attacks in 2021? Researchers claim alien planet lurk deep within Earth's mantle, researchers suggest. Because when you've got big impacts, you've got to have bigger impacts to the point where it's two planets colliding. Got to have it. Oh my God, it's proof that Nibiru is a thing. You're living inside of Nibiru. Something about Hunter Biden. And what else? What else? I don't see any human gender species planetary reassignment surgery. All right, let's close things out on that note. Human gender species planetary reassignment surgery. We now have a virtual cafeteria of transhuman options. That's about it for today's COVID Chronicles. And you're doing a fine job hanging above my head there like the COVID of Damocles, their COVID cheers. We'll just let you stay. Thanks for tuning in, viewers. This has been the April 10th edition of COVID Chronicles, Then and Now, 2020 and 2021. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. smAsho. We'll see you next time at SNN, the Smash News Network, least busted name in news.